In the last year, we have reviewed what seems like every super flagship tube amplifier in existence, and it doesn't seem to end, and it doesn't seem to be ending right now. We have still the Red October XL and possibly some other intriguing units to review, which we will discuss throughout the process of this assessment. Obviously, somebody must have been paying attention. PSVane contacted us and wanted us to actually try their new tube line, the Horizon, on a slew of products we have here at CMA. So I accepted. This was back in August last year, and I told them exclusively that this is going to take a long time. One, tubes require hundreds of hours of braking, stability, comparisons and synergy will all play a role. This is not something I can do overnight for you, but I am more than happy to accept everything you see on the table they've sent. So my special thanks goes out to PSVane for sending these units in for assessment. Otherwise, I mean, we have reviewed a lot of PSVane sound characteristics in our tube amplifiers during our reviews, but never targeted directly at a specific company or a specific thing. So this was an interesting project for us because we got to actually try an entire line in the variety of tubes as you see on the table here, from 805, 6SN7, and here it's the CV181s, which is compatible, and the 12AX7s as well. Oh yes, we have obviously the quad set of the 2A3s for the WA33JPS Elite behind me. So I got to test all of these tubes on a variety of equipment. Let's discuss. Starting with the set of the 283s, these are the most important ones in our setups, to be honest with you, because of the WA33JPS Elite. You can see the cardboard for these tubes are very solid, very nicely designed, and that is actually a rare thing if you play around in the realm of tubes. They all come with cardboard boxes that seem to disintegrate. This seems to have this glossy effect where not only does it seem durable, it actually feels durable. It's maybe there is a better way of transporting tubes around, but cardboard seems to be the way to go since the 1930s, and they've stuck with it. But yeah, the cardboard is much thicker. Taking the 283 out here, for example, this is the champagne style flute-esque tube. Let me place that over here like that. Metal base here, 4 pins, very solid on the 283s, as you guys know. And I really don't want to touch the tubes because skin oil and all that is not really a good idea, but also there is an indicator in regards to what the tubes are on this thing. And let me go and place this last tube in the beast mode amp behind me. Come here. Placing the 2A3 last tube into the quad set of tubes in the WA33, let us park ourselves back here. Having placed the fourth and last part of the quad set of the 2A3 in the WA33JPS Elite, let's have a quick look at some of their other tubes before I get onto the sound characteristics. These are the big boy tubes. These are the 805 tubes here in a quad set, and we have the 845s as well. I just don't think there was room on the table when the studio was set up during our shoot. So these tubes are not only in these very stiff cardboard boxes, and see, they're doing something special now. They come in these very bubbly set of bags, like so, with a hat that you peel back like so. This is the characteristics of new tubes. You do tend to actually get very good packaging, a metal base. Look at the size of this. If you rub this thing, would you get the genie popping out? These are the largest big boy tubes I've ever seen. There were some ones that look like jars at Munich high end, but yeah, these are very big tubes. So we placed them back here just to show you guys the look of these things. And sadly, one of our tubes had died on travel, and it was rattling around inside. But PSVane obviously fixed this situation and instantly sent us out another matching double set so that they would match the others. And this has been the occurrence apparently for a lot of my viewers as well that use PSVane tubes. They have very good customer service, especially those in the regions that are... Actually, I'm going to keep one of these out because it looks great. In some of the regions that they do not reach, like Dubai, etc., and they accommodated very nicely. Yeah, these are very big tubes. And then we have obviously have the 1.2 AX7s. I use these in the Red October XL. These are baby tubes. I don't think we need to take those baby ones out. They're very, very, very small. Actually, yes, we do, because there's something I want to discuss with you guys. These ones come in the same sort of style box, but a bit more delicate. As you can see, there is a seal mechanism inside these cardboard boxes designed so that it doesn't pop out. It's a double box. Okay, we have a double layer box here. So these are very well protected in shipping, but you know what shipping companies are like, right? I don't need to explain to you. These do not have any sort of base but pins, as you can see, these baby ones. These are the ones we used in the Red October and Red October XL. I'm going to place those back here because these ones scare the living bejeejies out of me. Looking at the prices of these tubes from PSVane, these are not their flagship Acme? I don't think I'm pronouncing that right, range, or their new range that is in the works, I believe. So in context of rolling tubes, I think you can do quite nicely and not break the bank, which is happy days, right? For tube rolling, because tube rolling never ever stops. And finally, these are the 6SN7 equivalents we mentioned a moment ago. They are obviously bigger. We use these with the KN Soul 170HA. These are the beautiful champagne looking ones that I used on the Euphoria review. If it's out on the channel, these are gorgeous. I love these tubes. They're fantastic hardware-wise looking at. As you guys know, the visual appeal of tubes is a very big thing for us tube lovers, especially at nighttime, and how intense they glow in the dark is quite important. So yes, metal base on that one, happy days. That's the hardware. Let's talk about the sound. First and foremost, what is the characteristics of the PSVane Horizon? And here is where they play a role on specific amplifiers like the WA33JPS Elite, the KN Soul 170HA, and Euphoria, etc. If your amplifier is neutral in the tube realm, like a reference sound or a neutral bright sort of sound characteristics, the WA33JPS Elite is the most solid state sounding tube amplifier there is. Literally on its heels is the KN Soul 170HA. It changes that tonality to a darker background, a more lush mid-range, and a far more veiled and laid back treble. So I had a lot of problems with the Soul tube amplifier from KN. It was fine, but using the 6SN7 or the equivalent here, the CV181s, I found that the tonality was far more to my liking. It was akin to being out in the bright day sun noon compared to walking out in the beautiful twilight time when it's dark but the sky is clean and clear and you can see all the freaking stars sparkling in the air. Running all of these tubes on the highest end equipment we have as CMA gives me an indicator to compare to things like the Western Electrics compared to the Takusakis. I always forget the name of those Japanese tubes that are freaking incredible, which is my reference in the WA33JPS Elite. They will set you back $6,000, but these tubes do not break the bank. And my most important, I think, advice I can give here is that you genuinely can tune your solid state sounding tube amps with these tubes with minor degradation. They are definitely not on the levels of Western Electrics for performance, for example, but they have a tight bass, dig low, a black background, and very lush mid-range with a nice, easy to take in laid back treble. So, feeling as though the WA33JPS Elite could not really benefit from rolling tubes, I was highly surprised by the performance of these tubes, especially on headphones such as the Sesvaras, such as the HD800S, and the Aria Unveiled we reviewed recently. But what about the opposite end of the spectrum, the Red October XL and the 127AUX? All these numbers. Here's a full list of all the tubes just in case I faff them up. That tube amplifier is already lush, organic, and very, very colored. I found as though putting those tubes in there did not mesh very well, but swapping out the Gold Lions and the Tongue Soul for the L-ROGS created a better synergy with the PSVane Horizon, but I felt as though it was slightly degrading the sound. The caliber of the actual amplifier and performance was degraded a bit, and here is where the degradation occurred. It was mainly in detail retrieval. They are pretty clean tubes, and not only that, they do provide a beautiful tonal balance that works with certain amplifiers. So my advice is, and the story just continues from the 805s, 845s, on the Viva, etc. The whole continuation of this line is very similar in regards to how they perform on amplifiers. They have their own house sound, specific sound characteristics, where it's that lush, slightly darker background, laid back treble, very visceral bass sort of sound characteristics. So you really do need to actually make sure you synergize these tubes. I mean, the most expensive ones I saw down the list, all the pricing will be down below, no affiliate links or anything obviously, but just for you guys to buy or look at or consider, was $220 I saw. Far cry from the NOS world of $3,000 or $2,000 per tube or per pair. You can easily have this as part of your collection for a nice tonal change and good performance and beautiful mid-range without breaking the bank. I am very impressed by these tubes. I actually have them in the reference system right now in the WA33JPS Elite. They do get used, they do make a nice change, and they make a beautiful coloration to a reference sound that sometimes can be boring. Not that you could call the 33 boring, but a change is what we require because we like different elements of sound characteristics, especially for genres. Talking of genres, let's get onto that now. The PSVane Horizon is an incredible synergized tube for metal, rock, electric guitars, and percussion. You want this tonality for your metal songs. It seems to add that beautiful, colored, gorgeous, visceral impact for electric guitars, power chords, and bring to life those big guitar amps. Highly impressed for this category of tube at this price point. My only gripe, and definitely is a gripe, is the detail retrieval. The levels of tubes we use here at CMA are far higher category, like Western Electrics, like here we go again, the Japanese tubes, Takusaki, Nagasaki, whatever, those here on the screen. Those are considerably higher and more resolving, obviously, so you do get a hit when you go back down to these, but once you clear your palette, as it were, and you come straight onto these tubes once it warms up and it's broken in, you find that that lush, beautiful mid-range and that black background really does take charge, and especially that heavy hitting low end. That was the aspect that really surprised me about these tubes. So overall, what do I think of the PSVane Horizon, especially on the amps and stuff we used? I think it helped the KN Soul 170HA a tremendous amount. I think it's a nice change for the WA33JPS Elite. I don't think it worked at all well, at least the 12 AUX tubes here with a 7 in there somewhere. I don't think that worked with the Red October XL at all well. I wasn't really impressed, so I didn't end up using it beyond the review process. But for the solid state sounding amps and for a nice variety and variation and coloration, I was extremely impressed and really enjoyed these tubes. I can't wait to work with PSVane again and definitely try some of their higher end lines, and when that comes in, I'll definitely bring that to you and let you know how it is. And if you fancy discussing tubes and all other manners of hi-fi equipment, consider joining Patreon and coming over to the private Telegram chat over at CMA Audio Lounge group, where you get to join the community and discuss tube rolling, tube amps, and all other hi-fi equipment that we get here for review before YouTube. If that is something beyond your means, your like, your subscribe, and a share or two and a couple of comments down below is all I require from you. Again, thank you PSVane for sending these in for assessment. It's been a tremendous amount of fun over the last 6 months, and I do apologize about the delay. Building this studio took over 3.5 months, and it was one of the most time-consuming processes in deep winter. Wasn't a smart move, but at least it's done. Until the next one, I'm Koji CEO. Peace.